At one time, new vehicle models were introduced in the fall, and MasterTech could tell you about most of the changes associated with them in a September or October release. Now, new model introductions and new model changes can occur at any time. Some of the 2004 model year changes discussed in this program have already occurred, while others will be made in the future. In addition, to cover the wide variety of changes, MasterTech now devotes a number of programs to new models and new features. This month's reference book and tech news training tips can direct you to other MasterTech programs that discuss 2004 model year changes. In this program, we'll take a look at the changes that are not being covered in other programs. We'll first discuss changes that affect multiple vehicle lines. Then we'll move to individual segments covering passenger cars, trucks, and Jeep vehicles. Not all new model changes affect just a specific model. Some are corporate-wide or may apply specifically to cars or trucks. Let's take a look at some changes that are spread across a wide variety of vehicles, starting with powertrain-related items. All gas turbo engines receive new fuel injectors that have a higher flow rate for improved performance. The 40TE automatic transmission, mentioned in the August MasterTech, will now be in all Chrysler Group domestic, non-turbo, light-duty, four-cylinder, front-wheel drive models. The NGC3, or Next Generation Controller, has become standard equipment on Pacifica and Sebring and Stratus models. Like the NGC1, NGC3 combines the powertrain control module and transmission control module in one unit for those vehicles equipped with an automatic transmission or transaxle. A few cross-platform changes affect the chassis, safety, and body electrical systems. To expand listening choices for customers, the Sirius Satellite Radio System, or S-STARS, is available in all Chrysler Group vehicles, either as a Mopar option or factory installed. The Uconnect voice-activated hands-free in-vehicle communication system is now available in Chrysler Group premium vehicles. This system is designed to work with cellular phones employing Bluetooth wireless technology. Now that we've looked at a few cross-platform changes, let's look at changes to individual models. Let's start our look at changes that affect specific models of passenger cars with the PT Cruiser Turbo. For those wanting turbo performance at a value price, the Special Value Turbo model is now available. With a few modifications, this model still delivers turbo punch with exceptional value, and it's designed to run on 87-octane fuel. As a part of brake system changes to PT Cruiser, traction control has been added to the anti-lock brake system on PT Cruiser Turbo models. See the chart in this month's reference book for a list of the available brake systems on PT Cruiser Turbo and non-turbo models. To help apply downforce to the rear and enhance its appearance, the PT Cruiser Turbo now has an available rear spoiler. To add to the fun and excitement of the PT Cruiser Turbo, a convertible version will be introduced later in the model year. Included in the convertible package is the Smart Glass feature, which lowers the door glass 10 millimeters when either the outside or inside door handle is operated. This is to help reduce door opening and closing effort, since the door glass fits up inside the weather strip when in the full up position. The back glass on the convertible is serviced similar to the sedan, while the top assembly has some unique service procedures. Both the back glass and top are covered in the updated Chrysler Convertible Top Service Training course. Check out the DCA course catalog for a full description. Now we'll take a look at changes that affect PT Cruisers with naturally aspirated engines and see what's new there. For 2004, front disc rear drum brakes with ABS will be available. A feature which is now standard on the PT Cruiser is the Sentry Key Vehicle Immobilizer. Look for the PT Cruiser Touring Convertible to be available later in the model year. And just like the PT Cruiser Turbo Convertible, the Touring version will have the Smart Glass feature, and the back glass and top will be serviced in the same manner. For 2003, the big news for sports car enthusiasts was the addition of the new SRT4 model. A few improvements have been made for 2004, such as the addition of a 136-amp generator to handle the extra demands on the electrical system. along with the limited slip differential, which you saw covered in detail in the August MasterTech. Even though the SRT4 and PT Cruiser Turbo share the same engine, the oil requirements are different. The SRT4 should use synthetic 10W30 motor oil, while the PT Cruiser Turbo and Special Value Turbo model should use mineral-based 10W30 motor oil. Now let's take a look at the Sebring and Stratus sedan and Sebring convertible and see what's new there. There are several new items which have an effect on servicing Sebring and Stratus models. We'll begin with powertrain-related items. The Flex Fuel V6, which gave Sebring and Stratus an FFV designation, is now available in fleet vehicles only. And the 2.4-liter PZEV, or partial zero emissions vehicle, will be available in select states. The 2004.5 JR models with a production launch of July 2003 will use a new Visteon air conditioning compressor, where previous models used a Sandon type. The Visteon compressor will use a different type of refrigerant oil and refrigerant amount. And for 2004, you'll find speed control as standard equipment on the convertible model. In changes affecting chassis items, low-speed traction control has now been added to ABS+. In body electrical changes, the auto-dimming rear-view mirror is now available on ES, LXI, Limited, and RT models. Also available on these models are steering wheel-mounted radio controls. Another change in the area of sound systems affects all JR models. With the popularity of the cassette diminishing, a CD player is now standard equipment. Now that we've shown you what's new on the sedans and convertibles, let's take a look at the coupes. For the 2004 model year, the Sebring and Stratus coupes also have a few changes worth noting. First off, the Belt Alert Enhanced Seatbelt Reminder System is now standard. For people who use a lot of accessories in their car, a second power accessory outlet is now inside the console storage box. In last January's MasterTech, we covered service highlights of the new Chrysler Pacifica. Since then, there are new developments you need to know about. Look for a new model to be added to the Pacifica lineup later in the model year that will be available in front-wheel drive only. To keep tire spin equalized when the traction control is turned off, the front-wheel drive Pacifica will offer a feature called Brake Limiting Differential, or BLD. What BLD does is limit the speed difference between the drive wheels by means of the traction control components. It's like having a limited slip differential, only the slip is limited by the effect of the brake components on the differential. Look for more information on BLD in the February MasterTech, along with updated course information in the DCA course catalog. As mentioned in the August MasterTech, in case your customers aren't aware, inform them that the Pacifica should use mid-grade fuel. Chrysler minivans continue to lead the segment with improvements and innovations, so it's important to keep on top of changes to these popular vehicles. In the area of powertrains, the 3.3-liter engine receives an EGR this year, along with a 1,200 RPM idle in neutral and park to aid with catalytic converter warm-up. A new key fob with integrated key and keyless controls replaces the key and fob from last year, which also adds a Sentry Key Remote Entry Electronic Module, or SCREAM, to the vehicle. Power adjustable pedals are now part of the memory system option. The optional seat side airbags will now become side curtain airbags, which will now be controlled by the Bosch 8.7E airbag control module. Look for the addition of a knee blocker airbag, like the one on Pacifica, later in the model year. Additional changes affecting what is now available on various minivan trim levels can be found in your reference book. Well, that wraps up our look at passenger cars and minivans. Next, we'll take a look at Dodge Ram trucks, and then move on to Jeep vehicles. For 2004, Dakota has a few changes worth noting, especially in the area of engines. As mentioned in the August program, the new next-generation 3.7-liter V6 has been added to the lineup. You may also want to note that the 3.9-liter, 5.2-liter, and 5.9-liter have been discontinued in the Dakota, along with the RT model. The remote recliner function on the driver's seat on Dakota Club Cab models has also been discontinued. You may have noticed that we haven't talked about the Durango yet. That's because the 2004 Durango is all new and will be covered in depth with its own program next month. With their aggressive looks, load carrying capacity, and towing capability, Dodge trucks have the advantage over the competition. Now we'll take a look at the changes for 2004, starting with those that affect more than one series. If a Ram pickup is equipped with a 3.7-liter, 4.7-liter, or 5.7-liter Hemi engine, you'll find a new coolant overflow bottle under the hood. Another change that affects the 5.7-liter Hemi is that the engine controller has been upgraded to the new NGC3 version. The NGC3 combines the PCM and TCM in one unit and includes electronic throttle control when used with the Hemi. As mentioned in the August program, the 545 RFE transmission has a new tow mode shift schedule, accompanied by a new tow haul switch. All Ram pickups equipped with a 5.7-liter Hemi engine and R-wall, or rear-wheel anti-lock brakes, will use one wheel speed sensor at the left front wheel and one on the rear differential as inputs. This is due to the ETC used on 5.7-liter engines needing a redundant speed sensor signal. The new configuration for R-wall will also add a revised cam to the system. In the area of restraint systems, all Ram trucks will now use the Belt Alert audible warning system. And multi-stage airbags for driver and front passenger appear in Ram pickups for the 2004 model year. For those who need directions when traveling in an unfamiliar city, the RB1 GPS navigation radio is a nice option. Now that you know which changes affect a wide range of Ram trucks, let's get more specific and see what changes affect just the Ram 1500 pickup. The 1500 series Ram pickup continues to keep the same basic design for 2004, but there are some changes worth noting. In the area of engines, the 4.7-liter will be E85 capable, earning Ram trucks with this engine an FFV, or Flex Fuel Vehicle designation. The Hemi engine will use an EGR, or exhaust gas recirculation valve, for 2004. Underneath, we find a new NV244 Gen 2 electronic full-time transfer case. In our last change, the fuel tank on the 1500 quad cab short wheelbase model is now 34 gallons. Next up, we'll talk about the only Dodge truck available with an 8.3-liter V10. For those people who always wish the Viper were available with a pickup bed, your wait is over. The big news in the performance area is the SRT-10. Let's look at some of the features on this hot new performance truck from Dodge. At the heart of the truck is the mighty Viper V10. This is essentially the same engine that goes into the Viper, with some slight modifications to make it work in the DR truck. Along with the engine, the SRT-10 also uses the same JTEC PCM as the Viper. Behind the engine, the SRT-10 will use the same 6-speed manual transmission found in the Viper. And providing a positive feel and short, precise throw, the Hurst shifter makes it hard to miss a gear. Unique engine and transmission mounts are used on the SRT-10 to accommodate the Viper powertrain. Another unique item on the SRT-10 is the throttle linkage. Transferring all that power to the rear wheels is the heavy-duty RBI Dana 60 rear axle with a 4.10 ratio. You'll note that this axle uses new tubes and bearings and requires new special tools for bearing installation and removal. Unique spindles and springs add to the truck's attitude, with a lower ride height than a stock DR 1500. Providing the stopping power in the front are modified calipers and new rotors. The rear brakes have also seen some modifications. Now that we've told you about the new SRT-10, there are a couple of items you should know about on the Ram 2500 and 3500 series trucks. Let's take a look. The 2500 and 3500 series DR trucks remain virtually unchanged, except for the addition of an off-road package. On the 2500 series, it will be available on regular cab long box SLT 4x4. On the 3500 series, it will be available on quad-cab short box SLT 4x4 versions. You may want to note that the 8.0-liter V10 is no longer available in these models. That ends our look at Dodge trucks. Next up, we'll take a look at what's new on Jeep vehicles. To keep its title as the #1 fun machine, Jeep continually makes improvements to stay competitive. Under the Grand Cherokee, in addition to the NV242 and NV247, you'll find the new Quadra-Track 1 NV147 single-speed transfer case. To help reduce wind noise, the crossbars on the luggage rack should be in their proper storage position. The front crossbar should be positioned in the 4th alignment hole from the rear, and the rear crossbar should be positioned in the furthest to the rear alignment hole. Refer to Service Bulletin 2301303 for additional information. Beginning with Grand Cherokees produced in July 2003, the Airbag Control Module, or ACM, will no longer use remote front impact sensors as inputs. The sensors are now integrated into the ACM. The Airbag Control Module in the Grand Cherokee is also the subject of Service Bulletin 0801603. Which discusses how the ACM is optimized for current and prior model years. If you ever find yourself lost in a city you're not familiar with, the GPS navigation radio can help you get back on course. The DVDs used by the navigation radio will only operate in the factory unit and are not compatible with other units. On the Grand Cherokee Overland, adjustable pedals are now standard equipment. Our final vehicle, the Liberty, continues to be one of Jeep's most popular. There are some changes for 2004 you need to be aware of. The Belt Alert Enhanced Seatbelt Reminder System will be added to all models, along with a seatbelt pre-tensioner for the front passenger side belt. While we're on the subject of safety, the Liberty now uses the new TRW Daimler Chrysler Common Airbag Module, or DC-CAM airbag system. This module can be configured to meet the specifications of the particular vehicle it's being installed on. Finally, the fuel tank capacity has been increased to 19.5 gallons, giving the Liberty even more range between fill-ups. That concludes our look at service highlights. Next up, some service information changes coming in the near future. The 2004 Crossfire will be the last vehicle to be supported with paper manuals that are automatically shipped to the dealerships. Dealerships will still have the option of ordering paper manuals, but at a higher cost. Instead, Tech Connect and CDs will be used to supply service and diagnostic information. Some of the benefits of these changes include timely updates on Tech Connect and easier storage of the CDs versus the bulky paper manuals. Along with these changes, look for a fresh new visual format to be introduced. Also look for more information on these changes in future MasterTech programs. As you just saw, there are many changes that affect the new Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep products for 2004. Knowing your product will help keep you ahead of the game. Well, that wraps up this month's update. Be sure to catch next month's MasterTech when we'll cover the all-new 2004 Dodge Durango. Thanks for watching.